Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Battlefield Podcast, episode 149er. I am Ola, aka Chalk1, and with me, joining me, as always, is Tim, aka Darkness49. How's it going, Tim?
It's going good, but how are you?
Not too bad at all. It is a gray Saturday noon-ish afternoon. How's the weather in Florida?
Sunny. Absolutely beautiful.
Asshole. So, this week, we're going to be talking with one of our very special guests that we actually play quite a bit of Battlefield with. He's been around the Battlefield community for quite a while. He's known for slashing people's throats a little bit. We're going to be talking with Mantis701. Hello, Mantis. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Pretty good, pretty good. I think what we'll start off with, we are going to talk about Endgame a little bit later on, because that's, you guys have had your first 6 days or 5 days of Endgame on PC. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the Battlefield 4 artwork that was posted just yesterday on various news sites. So we'll get to that as well. But first we want to talk a little bit with Mantis about who he is and what he does, and some of the topics that sort of revolve around his YouTube channel. I'll just hand it over to you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, like where you're from, what your gaming history is, and then we'll sort of lead into a bit of what you do on YouTube.
All right. Well, my real name's Tristan. I'm 29 years old, and I'm known on YouTube as the guy who knifes all the Pubstars. But before we get to that, my gaming history, I've been playing games since the original Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. I even played one of the old Atari systems a couple times. I played the NES, the Super Nintendo, and the Nintendo 64. And I have not owned a console since the Nintendo 64. Since then, I've been exclusively a PC gamer, and I've played a lot of different PC games since the golden age of PC games, I should say, in like I think the mid-90s, with Doom and Quake and all those games. So yeah, that's my history with games.
So Doom and Quake, that, speaking of the golden age, is that what you would consider the golden age for PC gaming?
Well, yeah, for multiplayer anyway. I think those were the earliest games on the PC that did where multiplayer became big, was Doom and Quake, and then games like Command and Conquer came out, and that became big in multiplayer. I was personally into the Descent series. I don't know if anyone remembers that. That's my favorite game series of
Tim's
all time,
shaking his head. Tim's too young.
No,
Doesn't know what he's talking about.
No idea. Descent was amazing. That was an amazing multiplayer game. Yeah, I played. There was TIE Fighter and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. That was a big one. I think in the 90s the PC was really the go-to platform, and then when I guess when the original Xbox came out in the early 2000s, and then Halo, and then the PlayStation 2 came out, that's when it started to go over from PC to consoles, and now consoles are way ahead of PC in terms of popularity, unfortunately. But at least I was there when PC was really, really popular in multiplayer gaming.
It's true. It is also... yeah. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, how did you start with the Battlefield series? Where did you...
The Battlefield series. Well, let's see. I did play Battlefield 1942, but I only played it at LAN parties with a small number of people, because I had dial-up internet until... Yeah. I had dial-up internet until 2006, a year after Battlefield 2 came out.
Holy cow.
So,
Wow.
I know. So before then, anytime I played a multiplayer on the internet, it was either through direct modem connection or because I had a 2088 modem, and I always had a ping of like over 1,000. I played Descent 3 with a ping over 1,000 because I loved that game so much. I had to play it regardless of my ping being really god awful. Uh, but yeah, I played Battlefield 1942 at LAN parties a few times, and so I didn't get the full experience with it because of the small number of people. It was basically like maybe 6 people, 6 to 8 people, and the rest were a bunch of bots, and that was pretty cool. And then, and then when 2005 rolled around, I went to a LAN party, and everyone had a copy of Battlefield 2 except for me. And everyone's like, "What are you doing? Why don't you have Battlefield 2?" I'm like, "What?" So I left the LAN party, went to GameStop, grabbed Battlefield 2, came back, installed it, and my life was changed forever. It was My mind was completely blown. I couldn't believe how amazing it was. And the problem with this is because I had dial-up at home, and now I was completely hooked on Battlefield 2. So every weekend when I wasn't working, I was like, "Are we having a LAN party? Are we having a LAN party? I want to play Battlefield." And for a year, that's how I had to play Battlefield 2, was to go to a LAN party. And then in 2006, around May or June or something, Verizon fiber optic internet was finally available where I was. And I probably must have been one of the first people to call. I didn't care how much it cost. I'm like, "Give me fiber optic internet now, and I want to play Battlefield." And that's what happened.
So you literally went from like really crappy internet to some of the best internet that you can get, huh?
Yes,
It's
that's
like
right.
going from like an old jalopy to a Ferrari.
Yes, pretty much. And I played Battlefield 2, Battlefield Bad Company 2, and Battlefield 3 ever since. And I love them.
How did you get into YouTube originally? Like, what made you start up a channel, or what made you start recording things in general? Was it any one particular thing, or did you did you have a specific idea in mind when you started all that?
No, back when I played Battlefield 2, there are a few videos that I saw that were pretty awesome. My favorite one is The Pwned Life. Do either of you remember that from Battlefield?
Sounds familiar, doesn't it, Tim?
It's like a mockumentary that a guy recorded, and he had all the different characters from Battlefield 2, and and it was extremely hilarious. I still think I have it on my computer somewhere,
It's not
but
the one with the subtitles thing, is it? Is that where the
it's
subtitles originated from?
it's like a mockumentary, and it was done like he was like a cameraman was interviewing each character in Battlefield 2, and he would do funny voices for each one, and he would make fun of all the stupid stuff that Battlefield 2 noobs did. It was really funny. But and I there's a several other Battlefield 2 videos I saw. So I did make one Battlefield 2 video for fun, just for the hell of it, where I played as the American engineer class with just a shotgun, and I called it the bitch stick. Yeah, and I just owned people with the shotgun. That's the only Battlefield 2 video I made, and then I did nothing until then, until Battlefield 3 came out, and then I got frapped. I played with a couple people, and I got frapped. I just started recording just for the hell of it, just our cool matches. Um, so I post maybe like, I don't know, 8 to 10 videos on YouTube between like November and November 2000 until like, I don't know, January or February or something. Just I called it Battlefield 3 MVP because it's basically I put up rounds of where I got MVP, and I would just show the round and how I got it. And it was basically just to show me and my friends. It wasn't really something I took seriously.
What was the first time that you took somebody's dog tags and then thought that you could make something out of that?
Actually, before I started knifing about Pubstars, I didn't knife at all. Like, at all. Uh, I don't think I even had one melee ribbon before I started that. Um, I'm not sure why that is. I just didn't knife at all. Uh, the let's see, the first video they got before I did that, I did this video called the Halo Jumping MVP, which was for the original Only in Battlefield 3 contest. if you guys remember back in like January 2011. Um,
Sure. Yes.
so I just did a round where I was Halo jumping out of Venom on Caspian Border Rush, the attacking side. And I would basically do Halo jumps down the whole time, land, kill a bunch of guys, and arm MCOMs. And Battlefield reposted that on their Facebook page, and it got like 160,000 views. And
Jesus.
Wow.
yeah, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's pretty awesome." And I got a bunch of subs. I don't remember how many, but and then April rolled around. That's when I got the idea for the first knifing the Battlefield 3 Pubstars. It was from. Do you guys know who Evil Viking 13 is? No, he's another Battlefield 3 YouTuber. Not a huge one. I think he has 10,000 subs now. He had a contest. He put out a video when he had like 4,000 subs or something, where he had a contest where he challenged all his subs to get his dog tags in game, and whoever the first person was that knifed him and then showed him the proof on YouTube got to win like a strategy guide and some real life dog tags, and I don't know, there's something else I don't remember. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll try that. And I joined his game and I tried to get him, but I didn't get him. And then from that, I was like, you know what would be cool? If somebody knifed like 10 of these Battlefield 3 community members and made a video out of it for fun. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it just as a challenge, just to see if I could do it. So I got a list of a whole bunch of the YouTubers that I knew of at the time, like well-known community members, and I started to join their games when I saw them online. I remember the first one. I joined Level Cap's game when he and Rival X Factor were filming Too Powerful, I think it was, and I actually managed to knife Level Cap the very first round. I was like, holy shit, I knifed Level Cap! Then I noticed the fraps wasn't turned on.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So level cap was the first one I knifed, but I didn't record it. So then after that, the first one I actually recorded was hilarious. It was Diego Rod from Elite Gamer Bros. He's the very first kill on in the first video. He actually knifed me first. Like I lit the game, I went to a building and I'm like, nah, where do I find these guys? And he comes up behind me and knifes me. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? But then it went perfectly. Right after that, I respawned. I walked to the same spot. They were all right down there. I jumped down and I knifed them immediately the next respawn. And ever since then, now 55 later, I've gotten pretty much everyone. That's how it started.
So how is the community as a whole taken to knifing the pub stars? Is it negative, positive, middle?
When it first started, it was almost all positive. Like even the guys like Level Cap and Relax Factor, they commented on my video and they were like, "Good job." They retweeted it on their Twitter and they're like, "This is cool." Like blah blah blah. And most of the feedback was pretty positive. Like I think the original video has hit like 40,000 views or something. It got me a bunch of subs, and a lot of people were like, "Do more, do more!" And all the comments were just all these other people that they wanted me to get, like get Burger Paul, get Doom 49, get Frankie on PC, and so I was like, "All right." And 2 weeks after the first one, I put out part two. That went over awesomely as well, and yeah, the initial response in the first month was very, very positive, and it put me on the map, and I'm grateful for that.
Do you think that was there? And you said that Level Cap was one of the first ones you got, and I was going to say that's actually probably one of the more challenging guys to get because knifing. When you say YouTube pub stars, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all really good players. Like I don't, and Level Cap actually is a really good player. Do you find that there was anyone in particular that was most difficult to get, or most challenging, or sort of most elusive on your list of the 55 that you've gotten?
Well, when I first started, like the first three parts, I would say it was a lot easier because nobody knew who I was at that point. So they weren't being as careful to look for me. Um, so even the good players, I was able to get with not too much difficulty. I was able to get them. Um, but after about three parts, most of the pub stars knew who I was, and it became progressively more difficult for me to knife them because they would see me join the game. They're like, "Oh, Mantis is in here. We have to watch our backs," and they would be looking for me. So it became a little bit harder to knife. Excuse me, knife. So the harder knives were in the later parts, like parts 4 and 5. Um, One that stands out was Thready. Thready was really hard for me to get. He's an exceptional player, and he was in vehicles a lot, so I was trying my hardest to get him to get out of the vehicle so I can knife him. I actually released a video based just on that. It was called Thready Makes Me Want to Cry, and it was basically all knife him. And it was so frustrating that I couldn't get him because I wanted him to be the big guy for my part 5. When I finally got him, it was because he tried to knife me. I was running along looking for him, and luckily I turned around and there he was right there behind me. And I was like, "Oh shit!" And he swiped, he missed, and then I swiped and I got him. And he was like, "No, you got me." He's one. He's one of the hardest ones I ever got.
In some of your videos, you actually have comms. Do you go and hang out in these guys' TeamSpeak servers?
I have made a lot of friends from this series, including both of you. I mean, I didn't talk to you at all until I joined your live stream that one day and knifed both of you. And ever since then, we do play on
You
a
should see
basis.
Tim's face.
Yeah, because mine was stupid. I was like humping a lamp or something. I don't know what happened.
Eric had a light or something.
Yeah, I don't know
Some,
what was going on.
what is he doing? But yeah, I made a lot. I made a lot of friends with a lot of the pop stars from this video. I made friends with Diego Rod with Elite Gamer Bros first. I used to hang out with him a lot in his team speak, but he's kind of stopped doing that thing, so I haven't talked to him, seen him that much anymore. Uh, and right now, since the summer, I've been hanging out with the same group, usually Can and Smitty and Barbaric Mustard, Mr. Assault. Um, yeah, all those guys. I've made a lot of friends with a lot of the pub stars. They're really most of them are really cool people.
So, Tim and I got those Dice Friends dog tags a few weeks ago or a month ago or so, and it's been okay on PC as far as you hear a lot from people who've had them before that a lot of people start stalking you and just sort of zombie rushing you to get your tags because you get listed on websites and stuff like that. I haven't noticed that problem so much on the PC, which is where you play, but it definitely is sort of an issue on the Xbox in particular, where you'll literally go into games and all of a sudden you turn around and there'll be 5, 6, 8 guys all with their knives out running at you from across the map just trying to get your tags, and it kind of does reduce the fun of actually playing the game properly. And I sort of know what your thoughts on that matter are, but I'd like for you to maybe tell our viewers, because what you do is not that. Like, you don't you don't bum rush people just for the sake of getting their tags over and over and over again. But what's it like for you to be in that position where I'm sure sometimes people will associate you with those other groups of dice dog tag hunters?
Well, I think I'm kind of particular in my style. I like to be by myself. I don't want any help. I don't want anyone to tell me where my target is. I want to find them by myself because I think that's part of the challenge. And my style is to be really sneaky and get behind them, and I don't want them to see me coming. I want to surprise them. And and I prefer doing it on maps like Rush or Conquest or the bigger maps, as opposed to like No Shar Canals TDM. Because in No Shar Canals TDM, if you run around in a circle, you'll probably knife everyone on the enemy team at some point without really trying in a couple rounds, and that's just not really a challenge for me. It's kind of more of a fluke. Um, So yeah, when you have a group of 8 guys just bum rushing you for your tags, that's not skill. That's what you'll probably kill a bunch of them, but one of them's probably going to knife you just because there's so many running after you, and that just seems kind of silly to me. I mean, uh, I think yeah. So yeah, that's basically my thought on that. I don't like to associate myself with those kind of hunters. And once I get someone, I don't really have a desire to try and get them again, at least deliberately. Um, if I'm playing with them in a game and I have the opportunity to night, and obviously I will, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get them again deliberately because I was able to get them once, and I don't see any need to do it again. I mean, so yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I think that's probably the biggest thing I've noticed about you as well is that after you do that, you just you play Battlefield just regularly like anybody else would. So I actually think that's a compliment to your integrity as a gamer that you don't make it all about just getting people's tags over and over again. So I'm sure Tim appreciates that too. You guys play a lot together on PC.
Yeah,
Yes, just
me
did
too.
last a lot of fun.
Last time was great.
Yeah, Tim actually did so well he got banned. He's got to turn off those hacks.
It was bad. Let's see here. Uh, so with the content that you're putting on YouTube right now, it's been mainly Battlefield 3 oriented, but we're going to see a slight shift in right now with Battlefield content. It's going to kind of slow down just because there's not a lot of new things coming out. Endgame's already out. That's going to have a longevity of I don't know, maybe a month. Um, what do you see yourself putting up on YouTube for that weird limbo that we find ourselves in between Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4?
Well, I have been putting up. I have put up Arma 2 Wasteland videos, and I do have the Arma 3 Alpha, and I put up a video of that. I've only put up one so far, and I'd like to play that more with Barbaric Mustard and all those guys. Except I've been playing Battlefield 3 Endgame, and that's been taking my attention. But I do want to put up more Arma 3 videos. Um, I did put up some Trouble in Terrorist Town videos like a while ago when my channel was smaller. That was pretty funny. I wouldn't mind doing that again. I also used to play Minecraft a lot, but and I'd like to put up some Minecraft videos. That Tim's look on his face. He's like, did Minecraft a lot, but and I'd like to put up some things of that. I just need people to play with. Um, but not you. Okay.
Oh,
You should check with the IND Gamers guys. They mentioned in their last interview actually that they're just starting up a Minecraft server. What did they call it? IND Craft or
yeah,
something?
that sounds right.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know, but other than that, I'm not really sure. Like, what else I'll be doing? I'll figure. I'm kind of just winging this, honestly. I'm not planning too far ahead. Obviously, when Battlefield 4 comes out, that'll be huge. But yeah, I'll probably put out some random games here and there, along with my Battlefield 3 content.
Do you want to take this moment and tell people about that series that you're bringing back to hire a hitman, or I don't remember actually what the exact title is, but you've done a couple episodes of it so far.
Yeah, I've done one episode so far. It's kind of difficult actually. It's called the Battlefield Hitman. Uh, the idea I had behind that was I would get YouTubers and Pubstars community members such as yourself to quote hire to hunt down a target or targets in game and get their tog tags or shoot them or however or troll them or whatever you want. And it can be for any reason. It can be for fun. It can be because they did something to piss you off. It could be because they're a stalker or a bad admin or basically anything. The one episode I did put out, I was my client Missy Chrissy, and she was her and her friends were playing in a server, and they were banned from the server for kicking the crap out of the ad. So she hired me, and I went into the server, and I killed the admins in multiple ways. I knifed them, I defibbed them, and repair tooled them, and basically kicked their ass. And I made a video out of it, and that was the first episode of the Battlefield Hitman, and it went over really well. Like people liked it, wanted to see more. So I do have a bunch of other targets I need to get, but it's proving to be taking a long time because they're either not online or I'm not at home at the time they're online, or some of them are pretty difficult to knife. But I'm gonna try and get something out soon. We'll see what happens.
Nice. And you mentioned that you've been playing a lot of Endgame, and I've posted my first impressions based on the PS3 version about a week ago. Tim and I are going to post up a sort of a joint review of the PC version, or I guess of Endgame in general as a whole. We'll probably do that in the next couple days, but why don't you guys chat a bit about what your thoughts on Endgame are so far? Maybe we'll start with Tim, because you've had a chance now to play it for several days. What do you think?
Uh, I like it, but I don't love it. It definitely was not the piece des resistance. Uh, I thought I had higher hopes for it. Uh, Capture the Flag is a lot of fun. I think that'll add in a little bit more life into the Battlefield 3 uh, game as a whole. I wish that you could play Capture the Flag on different expansions, not just Endgame. I wish that you could do it on a lot of other maps. I'm not happy with air superiority. It's a mess. I don't think. I think on paper it sounded really cool, but I don't think that it really works out really well. Maybe it's just me, but I really haven't enjoyed it.
Yeah, you're a
As
pretty
for
good pilot too, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of myself as an above average pilot, but I just haven't enjoyed it. There's just way too many people flying around at once. I think I've been rammed more playing air superiority than I have the entire time I played Battlefield 3. Apparently, if you use heat seekers, you are automatically a noob and a disgrace to the Battlefield game. So you shouldn't use those. You can't use what other things can't you use? I'm trying to think. There are a couple things that you like, a couple add-ons that apparently if you use, then you're a noob and you can't if you use those and you can't play Battlefield apparently. I really enjoyed the new maps. I think they did a really good job with the map design as a whole. It's some things that we haven't seen before, so that was nice. It was really funny to listen to some people talk right off the bat about how these maps have just been recycled or it's the same coding as other maps. And um, I mean, there's, yes, there are some things that have been recycled into the map, but at the same time, it's something different. It's not another desert map. It's not another Karkan map. It's something that's new, and that's always nice to see it. It's not the same stuff that you see every day when you fire up Battlefield. So that's enjoyable. I think on a scale from 1 to 10, I think I can give it a solid 7. Um, like I said before, it definitely wasn't the end game that I thought it was going to be. I was really hoping for some new things, um, and I really wasn't happy with them just giving it the STAC as the only weapon that we get to unlock. I was hoping for a couple other things, or maybe some more weapon add-on or vehicle add-ons. Um, that was really it. It was okay.
What about you, Mantis?
What I played so far, I think it's pretty good, but it's not amazing or anything. First of all, I haven't tried air superiority, and I won't because I don't fly jets. I don't have one single jet kill in Battlefield 3. So that's not something I'm going to be trying out, and I didn't care about that. I have played Capture the Flag Conquest. Capture the Flag is really fun if you have a team or a squad with you that knows what they're doing and you're organized and you know how to get back there and capture the flag. And it was a lot of fun because I played with Tim and a bunch of the other guys the other night. Me and Tim were doing an awesome job capturing that flag and stealing their chopper and all that. the other day. That was a lot of fun. So I think Capture the Flag is a lot of fun. Um, Conquest, I played a lot of that, and I think for the most part, Conquest is pretty cool too. It feels a lot like Armored Kill, except the maps are smaller, which makes it a little chaotic at times with all the vehicles. I feel like you round a corner and there's like 50 tanks just sitting there, and it's like holy shit, and run away. Um, and a couple of the maps are a little too linear for my liking, like a straight line, like Operation Riverside, for example. It's kind of a straight line along that river, which makes it very difficult if you get trapped onto like one or two of the flags to get out. And I prefer conquest maps that are kind of large and asymmetrical, and the flags are here, 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 all over the place, where there's several routes to break out. So those are pretty good. Uh, they look really cool and well designed, even though they recycled some stuff. I have not tried Rush a whole lot. I think I've only played a couple rounds of Rush, so I can't really comment on that. The dirt bikes are neat, especially when you get into a server by yourselves and plan a bunch of score and blow it up and go flying all the way across the map. That's a lot of fun. Uh, and Yeah, there's not much different from ATVs though. It seems like, and I haven't gotten the new pistol yet, and I don't care that much about it, honestly. But yeah, so I agree with Tim's assessment that it's pretty good, but not the greatest.
What do you guys think as far as like where would it rank in the list of DLCs that we've gotten with Battlefield 3? Like what's your favorite? Where do you think this one fits in?
Yeah. So for me, Karkan is definitely number one. And the only reason why I give Back to Karkan number one is because it just has, it gives me a lot of good memories from Battlefield 2. It just that nostalgic factor. So that's why Karkan will be number one for me. Number two is really close, but it's going to be Armored Kill. Armored Kill, I really enjoyed just the larger maps because, again, it gave me a feel of playing Battlefield 2 again. Battlefield 2 was known for its large maps and numerous vehicles. So to kind of astray from the smaller maps, the smaller vanilla maps from Battlefield 3, we kind of venture back into the larger style maps that Battlefield is known for. And then number three is Close Quarters. I really enjoy the infantry system. That's something we didn't really see in Battlefield 2. We saw the better infantry system in Bad Company, but that was more of a deviation from the original Battlefield series. So if we're just going from Battlefield 2 to Battlefield 3, we saw a very large improvement from. Oh, let's hold it.
Sorry, Tim.
uh,
Having some fun with the chat room. Sorry.
So what was I saying? Oh yeah, okay. So if we're just going from Battlefield 2 to Battlefield 3, then we have seen a very large improvement in the infantry combat with weapons and whatnot. Because if you remember in Battlefield 2, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. There was no reason to be in someone on the infantry side. It was all vehicle warfare. But now infantry has a purpose again, I feel, for Battlefield 3. So Close Quarters, and then finally Endgame. It's not on the top of my list at all.
Interesting. I'm surprised that you rated Armored Kill as highly as you did, but I think you like that one quite a bit more than me. I'd probably rank them.
I've always been a vehicle guy, so for me, having a large space to fly the jets and helos and go tank pounding has been is very enjoyable for me.
I actually think that I would put Close Quarters at the top of my list, which is really strange to say, but having played on all three platforms, it's the one DLC that I enjoy on all of them equally, I think. I play surprisingly little of Back to Karkent, which is strange, but I feel the same nostalgia for Battlefield 2 as you do with that. What about you, Mantis?
I totally forgot about Aftermath. Sorry, guys.
Say what?
I forgot about Aftermath.
Oh. You forgot all about it? Just completely?
I forgot. Like, I didn't even mention Aftermath. I think I could throw Aftermath in between Armored Kill and Close Quarters. I liked it more than I like Close Quarters. So, like 2.5.
What about you, Mantis?
share a lot of Tim's nostalgia for Battlefield 2. Um, Battlefield 2, in my opinion, is still the superior game from Battlefield 3 because made a lot because of the maps. Um, I prefer the old school conquest style of Battlefield as opposed to Rush or Team Deathmatch or any of the other game modes. It's meant to be Battlefield is meant to be just that, a huge battlefield with all kinds of different warfare going on around you, infantry, vehicles, etc., squads, flags, just like 8 or more flags here, there, and everywhere. So that being said, back when it was coming out, I was extremely excited for that to play all the old Battlefield 2 maps on that. So Sharkey Peninsula was my favorite map on Battlefield 2, so I was excited for that. So Battlefield or Back to Kurgan probably is my favorite expansion, and second is very close between Armored Kill and Aftermath. I share Tim's sentiments on the Armored Kill maps I thought were the closest thing to the way about the maps were in Battlefield 2, and I thought it was very awesome. Although a lot of people don't share that opinion, I think mainly because of how imbalanced Rush was. I guess I don't know.
I think a lot of the console players really didn't enjoy it either, just because of the mass scale and how they were limited to 24 players.
Yeah, those maps are not the same with 24 players. If you have at least 48 or, even 64, then you get that proper Battlefield feel to it. But on the consoles, yeah, they're just not. It's just not the same thing. I mean, all the points that you make about what's nice about Armored Kill and how it's similar to Battlefield 2, it just doesn't translate on the consoles, unfortunately.
Yeah, that makes sense because of the small number of players. I think Armored Kill is meant for more of the PC side rather than the console side.
Mhm.
They can't do too much because the console got close quarters. I mean, it seems like that was specifically designed for them. The really tiny maps that are work perfectly for 24 players, which leads me to my point in that close quarters is my least favorite part of Battlefield 3. I mean, I think those maps are absolutely ridiculous with more than 24 players, 32 or 64. It drives the wall. You spawn in, it spawns behind you, and you take 2 steps. It's just you grab a light machine gun, spam grenade, C4, and you're just spraying everywhere, and take down a bunch of people, and I just don't. It's just not my style. Like I'll play it obviously, but it even knifing on it's kind of silly because you just like No Sharknell's TDM, you just run around in a circle. You'll knife everyone eventually without even trying. It's just a huge clusterfuck in my opinion. But yeah, the but all the other expansions I like a lot, other than Close Quarters. They're really good.
So you mentioned, the smaller maps and having to scale some things down to make this game be cross-platform compatible in that sense. Sort of leading into Battlefield 4, the artwork was released recently. I guess it's the cover image or something. It shows another American soldier running down the street. You can see an IFV in a tank, and it's got sort of the similar art style with the blue with the blue hue and sort of those orange streaks. What do you think we can tell from that artwork, but also leading into what you mentioned now, it coming out on next-gen consoles and maybe some of those technical limitations that maybe held Battlefield 3 back? Hopefully some of those will be gone. Can we expect more PC-like gameplay perhaps in Battlefield 4, or now that some of those barriers are gone or perhaps lessened?
Well, I want that to be the case, and Battlefield 4 is a lot better than Battlefield 3. Not bad, but obviously they had to design Battlefield 3 to work around the older consoles, and that's not going to be the case anymore. So I'm assuming the maps and the play style are going to be slightly different because they'll be able to support 64 players like the PC, and I'm really looking forward to that. As far as the artwork goes, rumor has it that that's Shanghai in the background, Shanghai, China, and there's going to be three sides again, like in Battlefield 2, China, Russia, and the United States. And I'm looking forward to that, even though it's not new. New for older Battlefield players like us, it's new for the Call of Duty players that migrated over. I also heard rumors that Commander mode was coming back, and I'm really hoping Battle Order comes back. Basically, all the features that were Battlefield 2 that weren't in Battlefield 3, they need to come back because they're all really good, and I don't know why they would ever get rid of any of them.
Yeah.
Lastly, I also heard that female soldiers would be in the game as well, but that's all rumor. But I really hope that Battlefield 4 is closer to Battlefield 2 than Battlefield.
I think it will actually be interesting if I can get Battlefield 2 and 2142 to launch again. I couldn't yesterday. We were thinking of making a short video explaining what the commander mode was like in those games because I think a lot of people who weren't around in those days and maybe only played Bad Company onwards don't really know what that was like and why there's so many people from PC who have been calling to get a commander mode again. So hopefully that's something we'll see in Battlefield 4, and hopefully I can get those old games to launch again so that I can record some footage of that. Tim, what are your thoughts on BF4 and the artwork we've seen so far?
Uh, when I first saw it, I was kind of disappointed because it just it seemed like a new box on the same product. Um, but I still have high hopes for it. If a lot of the things that I've heard, things that Mantis has said, are true, then it'll be a lot of what the community has been crying for that they wish they would have seen in Battlefield 3, which a lot of it we saw in Battlefield 2. So it would be coming over to Battlefield 4, and that'd be awesome. I really hope there are new things to look forward to. I hope there's new weapons, new vehicles. I just hope it's not a recycling of what we already have in Battlefield 3. I hope there's some new innovations that we haven't seen before. Not just maybe increasing the power of the Frostbite engine to do some more destruction or things like that. I would like to see a brand new game as a whole.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting when I mean supposedly we'll find out more in I guess 10 days from now on the 26th. That's when GDC is, and there's a lot of rumors going around that there's going to be some information for Battlefield 4 released. I can't imagine that there'll be too much information. I mean, it's not like they're going to release a spec sheet with all the features, but I would imagine there'll be some of the highlights maybe revealed or something like that. We're also expecting a premium video, I think, for March still. So it would make sense that maybe that's related in that somehow. Um, I don't know. I mean, the artwork looks amazingly similar to what we've seen with artwork for Battlefield 3. So we've had discussions in the past about BF4 being something more like a BF 3.5, like Battlefield 3 at its core with some improvements and some limitations removed. And maybe it's going to be that, which I think is not going to be a bad thing, though. I don't know. I think we'll find out more, and we'll probably talk about it more in the next episode because I would imagine that 2 weeks from now we'll know a lot more than we do right now. I think what we'd like to do now is we get about 15 minutes left, and there's a few people in the chat, so maybe if anybody has any questions for Mantis, maybe we can throw some of those at him. One of the questions that Phoenix Wars actually asked is, Mantis, how do you find your targets, especially if you're in a 64-man server? How did you find them out of all the people in there?
Oh man. Um, when there's that many people, it is obviously a lot harder. But usually when I join the game, obviously I get on the opposite team and I stare at the kill feed to see what weapon they're using. Um, so when I see this player kills this player with like the M16, I'm like, okay, so he's a medic with the M16. So that I know that's what I need to look for. And then when I do find them, I take note of what camo they're wearing. If it's black or default or whatever it is, then I know that what they look like and what kit they're playing. And then I also take note of who else is in the game with them. Who does this person run with? I should say. For example, if I was hunting, let's just say level cap, and if he was filming Squad Up, see Rival X Factor, Mongol FPS, and Matimio on the other side. So if I happen to see one of them, I'm like, okay, I know level cap is probably very close to him. And I basically try to stay out of. I try to figure out how they're playing and what they're doing as well. Like if they're playing recon, hanging back and sniping, I know, okay, maybe I need to flank around the back near the back of the map somewhere, as opposed to up in the front lines where PTFOing is happening. I also see if he's in a vehicle. If he's in a vehicle, I'll have to switch my kit and go to engineer and see if I can get him out of the vehicle, damage it enough for him to jump out. Uh, there's a few things you have to do to try and find the guy. So yeah, I take note of all those things to try and find the person. And sometimes it takes a while, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on the player. And that's usually how I try and figure out where a person is.
It's very in depth.
There's a lot more to it than you think.
Biffy wants to know about the KTFO thing that you have going on, and why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
KTFO. KTFO stands for knifing the fucking objective. Obviously, it's a play on the term PTFO, which is playing the fucking objective. Uh, I had that idea running around in my head for a while, and I got Can, Barbaric Mustard, and Kilophile were the first people that I got to do the first episode. Basically, the idea is that you play the objective and try and win the game, but you're only allowed to use your knife. You can't use a gun. And you are also allowed to use explosives to take out vehicles, because obviously you can't knife vehicles. The first episode we did was, I guess, late last summer or something like that. And we actually took the top 4 spots in the server without firing a shot from a gun. And we won the game. And that's what KTFO is. Now, unfortunately, it's kind of gotten, the term KTFO has gotten thrown around too loosely, and now people just think of it as running around with a knife out, knifing everyone.
That's just
not,
K. There's no TFO in that part.
it's not KTFOing. And the last couple episodes that we've done, it was kind of not KTFO as I envisioned it. It was more just a whole bunch of us getting in the server and knife fighting each other, which is not really what it's meant to be. And I was trying to get the guys together, just 4 of us, to get back to where it was before. But I had it with Arma 3 coming out. They've been playing that a lot, and it's been really difficult to get them together. So I don't know when we're going to see another KTFO episode, honestly. Hopefully it'll come back, but I really don't know. But it is a lot of fun.
So another question about the Pubstars from Ghost of Sparta 85 is, how do you join on them? Do you have them all on your friends list, or how do you know where or what server to even look for if you've got a specific target in mind, for example?
I had this website called I think it's Battlefield 3 Stats. You can go there. This was before BF3 Stalker came out, by the way. No, I was not friends with any of them on Battlelog, and no, I did not manually type their name into Battlelog 100 times every night to try and find them. Go to this website, you can make a list of as many players as you want along the left side of all these players. And if you click on their names, it'll show the last server they played in. And I'm guessing Tim's looking for that right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at this bf3soccer.com.
Stars side, and every night when I got home, I would click on their names and see who was online. And then whoever was online, that I would go to Battlelog and join from there. And that's normally what I did for the first 3 parts, I guess. And then when when BF3Stalker.com came out, I started using that for whoever was left. So I used that and BF3Stalker.com, because not everyone is on that website. So that's basically what I did to find my targets.
You want to take another one, Tim?
Yeah, Wharton42 in the chat asks, how do you feel about having maps from previous Battlefield games, all of the Battlefield games, included in Battlefield 4? And if so, what maps?
It would not bother me one bit if every single map in Battlefield 2 was in Battlefield 4, including the Special Forces expansion, the Euroforce expansion, and the Armored Fury expansion. There was not a bad map in that game, in my opinion. And obviously, I'd want new maps too, but I would have no problem with all those maps from Battlefield 2 coming back and making an appearance. I was not a fan of the Bad Company 2 maps, however. They were just too small and too linear for my taste. But yeah, I would love to see old maps come back from Battlefield 2, other than the four we've already gotten. I think we've gotten enough Wake Island in every single Battlefield game.
Um, what are your opinions? You mentioned earlier that there's rumors of maybe having female soldiers in Battlefield 4. What are your opinions on having those in the game? Phoenix Wars would like to know.
Well, I have no problem with it. I'm sure all the females that play Battlefield wouldn't have a problem with it either. You get some individuality in the game. I think, however, if that's the case, most of the female characters you'll see in Battlefield 4 will be actually guys just trolling the other team, pretending to be a chick. I'm a girl that plays Battlefield. Look at me. You know, just trolling the other team. That's what I think will happen. But I'm sure Phoenix will be very happy that there'll be female characters in the game.
I think it's going to be one girl on one side with a long line of guys following behind her, storing her med packs and ammo packs because they're not going to know what to do. They're like, oh my god, a girl.
And I think the female characters are going to be targeted for knife kills a lot more than the male characters. I just think that's going to happen.
Scanner Barkley wants to know why you're so damn good with an 870 from the back of a bike.
I didn't even use shotguns barely. I was just lucky, I guess. I have a question for you, Scanner. What makes you so good with a rocket launcher off the back of a bike?
While we wait for him to answer that question in the chat, Barbaric Mustard would like his tags back, please.
Sorry, no refunds. But you can always get me back if you want mine.
Actually, so Scanner Barkley just says good genetics. That's where the rocket launcher skill comes from. But you just mentioned something that reminded me of something you're doing right now for your 4,000 subscriber video where you're asking people to knife you and send footage in. Why don't you tell people a little bit about that and encourage them to try to go and hunt you for a change? What was that?
Sorry. That was my phone.
I challenge all my subscribers and viewers and Pubstars to join my games and try and knife me and get my tags. And I wanted them to send me in the footage, and then I make a community montage of everyone knifing me, because I thought it'd be kind of funny, and people obviously would like to get revenge on me and hunt me for my tags. Unfortunately, I haven't really gotten any clips for that, so I don't know if we're going to see that or not. I think I got one or two, but not. I don't have any footage to do it. So, come on, people, join my game and try and knife me. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's actually not that difficult to knife. Or he's not that, I don't know. I've knifed you a couple times, but I just never recorded it. It is kind of fun, though. I like the idea of doing that for a 4,000 subscriber video. Congratulations on reaching that, by the way. I think your YouTube channel's really taken off in the last few months, hasn't it?
Yes, it did really well in January, and it's done pretty well in March. Yeah, I almost gained 1,000 in January with Part 5. So yeah, it has been going pretty well.
All right. Unless there's any other questions, I think it's just about time for us to say goodbye for this weekend. I don't know. Next weekend, all the fun people are going to PAX East, which means Tim and I are not going, of course. But I'm sure we'll be back probably the weekend after that, working on a couple guests. We'll see what's up. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more information as to what Battlefield 4 is going to be all about. And we'll be back then. Until then, of course, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BattlefieldPodcast. You can follow us here on Twitch, which I think Tim is pointing at the button, sort of. I think it's on the other side, unless it's mirrored. Yeah, maybe there. You can also find Tim's Twitch account at twitch.tv/darkness_429. No? Don't want
No,
him?
I don't understand. Like, I wish I didn't have the underscore. It's a pain in the
Oh
ass.
yeah. Yeah, well, you have the other account too, but it's you can't switch things around really easily. So, Mantis, why don't you tell people where they can find you and subscribe, follow, stalk you online?
Okay, my YouTube channel is www.youtube.com/oddbox701. It's not Mantis701, it's oddbox701. My Twitter is Mantis701, and my Twitch is Mantis701, even though I rarely ever stream. I should really change that. And my Facebook is Oddbox701. So you can find me at all those places there.
Perfect. And I think with that said, any closing words from you, Tim?
No. Thanks for coming on, Tristan. It was a blast, and see you on the battlefield next time.
Yep, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed being here and talking with you guys. I hope all the viewers enjoyed it as well.
All right, thank you, everybody, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Make sure not to miss this podcast on iTunes if you would like just the audio version of it. We'll see
Really
you then.
kills your time driving. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, iTunes.
Yes. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out in the chat.